Now then, according to the Merchant Shipping Act of 1967, there are actually 4 types of wreckage: flotsam, jetsam, lagan and derelict. And this all came into sharp relief nearly a year ago at Branscombe Bay near Sidmouth. Okay? A ship called the Napoli got into terrible trouble heading out of the channel, not terribly far actually from the cities, but on the southern side. And so they turned around and they were trying to get her back into port, but she was leaking too badly, so they beached her at Branscombe. And there was a terrible storm, and as you probably remember, all of the containers were washed overboard, and the entire world went down to Branscombe Bay to loot, and they found all kinds of interesting stuff: nappies, wing mirrors, Kit Kats, and 1 or 2 slightly more valuable items. And this year at Sidmouth Festival, I was asked to do a progressive songwriting workshop. But that doesn't mean to say we were writing songs about pixies in teapots with 20-minute guitar solos in. It was a progressive workshop that we were developing it over the full week. Did anybody go down to Sidmouth Festival? Very nice, good festival, I do recommend it. Long way though. And at the beginning, on the Monday, they'd organised for some ladies from the Branscombe Oral History Society to come in, and they'd got lots of anecdotal evidence that they'd collected from the looters and from the receiver of wreck and the policemen and so on. So we had a big body of information, all true. And on the final day, we had a little sing-song, and everybody sang the songs that they'd written. But in between these two, apart from the fact that we were all beavering away on songs, they'd actually exploded. They'd blown the Napoli into 2 halves, and if you remember that, it was all on the news, because they couldn't get it floated again after they got all the stuff off. It was still stuck in the sand. And the bow section was being towed backwards and forwards across the bay, eventually on its way to Belfast, I think, but they were having some problems. They kept taking it back and putting it on the sandbank again, and then having another go the next day. So the Napoli had been very up in all of our consciousness all the way through the week. And there were various songs brought along. One of them was by a guy called Richard Toller, and he had stuck so closely to my instructions on narrative songwriting that I feel perfectly duty-bound to call it my own. Actually, I've made a few changes with Richard's permission. It's called Branscombe Bay. Down at Devon races, an old woman grabbed my hand, said, "Never mind these ponies, Branscombe Bay's your man." Well, I watched him in the viewing ring, the odds looked mighty fine, so I tossed my lucky penny high. The copper spun against the sky, I called it heads, it fell that way, but Branscombe Bay was lame that day. He never crossed the line, he never crossed the line. Driving empty-handed, ashamed of what I'd done, I saw a sign to Branscombe and curiosity won. The Devon lanes, they drew me ever deeper into night, till suddenly the ocean sound, a beach and people running round, as hundreds come from every side, all heaving cases from the tide, and crowing with delight, and crowing with delight. And then I saw a vision, or so it seemed to me, a mighty metal stallion, a dream of power and speed. But he was mired in gravel, half buried deep in sand. I pulled till I could pull no more, that bike was fast upon the shore. I knew I'd need a team to thank, I drew the keys from out the tank, and closed them in my hand, and closed them in my hand. But when my team assembled, Jim, Richard, Bob and me, another gang had wrangled my stallion from the sea. My hand upon the handlebars, I boldly bade them stand. You may be lords of Branscombe Bay, and finders keepers, so they say, but I was first to make a move, and this to you I'll gladly prove. The keys are in my hand, the keys are in my hand. They saw that they were stymied, and something must be done. I said, if we're all betting men, a wager we'll put on. I took my lucky penny and I tossed it to the night. The copper spun against the stars, it seemed to spin for hours and hours. I knew this time it could not fail, they called out heads, it fell down tails. The horse was mine by right, the horse was mine by right. The tank was full of fuel, my ship at last came in. The engine roared, we hit the road, the silver wheels a spin. Then slowly I remembered what that woman had to say, and suddenly the penny dropped. I squeezed the brakes, my stallion stopped. It's no more GGs now for me, with these CCs I'll ride TTs. Thanks to Branscombe Bay, thanks to Branscombe Bay. A ship there is, and sails the sea. Can you guess her name? Yes, it's the Napoli. But now she wails, oh waily, waily, I am so forlorn. My better half just upped and gone. Oh, he was bonny, he was brave and true, the best bow end that I ever knew. But now asunder we have been rent, 3 wondrous, thunderous bangs, then off he went. In Branscombe Bay, in vain we tried, our treasure trove to hold inside. But alas for me and my darling boy, 'twas robbed he was by the hoi polloi. And now my true love, my bow, my bow is an empty shell, while I lie low like a stranded whale. Who'll love me now, all bereft and scarred, while he sails off to the knacker's yard? The water is